Well, hello again. I am glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're in this class. We're going to take a look at expanding the little Excel spreadsheet we did that's telling us what classes we have taken, what classes we are taking, and what classes we will take. And we're going to add to it the amount of study hours that we should be studying. Basically, I'm trying to get into your head that school takes study. So first off, I'm actually taking it from the suggested semester course plan or the course sequence for the security one because it was the first on the list. So I've added these things in there. I didn't put in my general elective, but that's okay. I got enough to work with. You would want to, of course, add in everything that you need to, that you are actually taking. And if you need, right, just a little refresher, if you need some more room, you would click on the row where you need room above. And when you hit insert rows, it knows insert a row above. See, now my formulas will still be just fine because it's going to rearrange the numbering for me, right? So it's gonna include, actually that one did not. So I better change that to F8. It's supposed to. I guess that's the difference between the online version and the one you use on your desktop. All right, so I'm going to add right over here. Let's see if we can combine these rows together. I am not sure if we can. I mean, there's my picture in way once again. No. So I'm not sure if I can in this particular. There we are. Merge and center. That's what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and add in here study hours. You can actually copy the formatting. So you can actually come over here and then do a copy. Let's do a control C for copy. Now that's copied. You can come over here and you can now say, I want to paste the formatting. And it will just paste the formatting. Isn't that nice? So look at all that stuff you remember. All right, so that should have, oh, it uncanceled. So when I pasted the formatting, it unmerged. That wasn't nice. That wasn't nice of it to do. Let's merge it. So I should have done the other and then, okay, anyway. So we're going to put the study hours here. So if we got a 3-credit course, we can create a formula that will take this information from the credit hours and put down the correct number of study hours. Now, we are going to go off of the federal standard. So I'm not going to ask you to put it ×2, although if you want to, you can. Remembering that equals kicks off our formula so that we can actually put a formula in instead of just text. So we got our equals in. And now we're going to say we're going to be equal to, so I don't actually even have to type it. I can click on it. It's going to be equal to whatever is in that field, F4. And then we're going to multiply that, right? That's 3 times, how many was it? 3 times 50 minutes. So we're going to go off the 50 minutes. You can do the hour if you want. You can put in 60 there, but we're going to go off 50. And now I'm going to just hit enter so you see that it's actually calculating. Okay, so that's in minutes. Most of us, we don't work that way. So I'm going to tell it, let's see, how many minutes an hour? Right, so I'm going to tell it, can you divide that by 60 minutes in an hour? And so that tells me my study time per week. Actually, let's put that up there. So we know what this means. This is a per week. Yeah, with 2 Ks. Per week study hours, right? So 2.5 hours. Now, what I can do is grab this little fill handle. I've changed my pointer to be blue, just so it can be seen on videos a little better. But usually that blue cross turns into a black cross or plus sign. So when you grab that little tiny square, you can now fill that downwards, and it will do that eventually. So there it is. Now it basically has just modified that formula that I did to reference the appropriate cell. If you don't believe me, I will type a 1 here and I will type a 2 here, and you will see that change. So if that was not working, that wouldn't have changed. All right, so 3 and 3. Right, so that's how many hours you should study for this class for that week, right? So down here, we can add to the totals, just like we did before over here. And that's at 11 point. So we'll stay the same. And now we can say, well, I need the sum. So we can just hit this auto sum. You could actually type in equals sum. I'm going to show you that. So instead of hitting auto sum, we'll say equals the sum of, and begin a bracket, and then drag that down and end it. And that is the same thing as hitting this sum of, right? The colon in the middle means this through this, which is good to do instead of plus, 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 plus. So it's telling me I need 10 hours of study per week for all the classes that I've taken here, and I'm getting 12 credit hours for that. So if you wanted to, you can change this. I'm not going to fault you for changing it, but you can say, take this amount, right, the 50-minute period, and multiply that by 2, and then divide it by 60, right? And then you get 5, right? So you could do that instead if you want to go off of what the professionals that have researched education and what students ought to do, and then you'll know how many hours that you should be studying. So again, this assignment is to get that in your head that this is a commitment. Your college education is a commitment, and that the idea is not to do it in the least amount of study possible, or even the most amount of study possible, but to study the appropriate time that you need. And if you have that on your spreadsheet, as you go through, as I said in my other lecture, as you go through on your 3-4 weeks in, you can look and say, am I actually studying what I need to be studying? Or am I blowing that off, hoping that that won't catch up with me? Which it will catch up with you. I know, I've done it. Right, all information that I wish I'd had from the very get-go. Some of it, like I said, I struggled as a student. So when I came into college, I had really good study habits, which helped. But yeah, there was times I blew things off when I shouldn't have. And I thought later on, wow, it would have been so much easier if I had just taken in little chunks what to do. So I'm going to back that back out. We'll make that back down to 2.5. And that is it for today. That is what you need to turn in. This is what I'm going to be looking at. Remember, you're turning in an Excel file. You're not converting this to a PDF. If you convert it to a PDF, not joking, I will give you a 0 on that assignment, and I'll put a little note in saying you need to upload an XLS. Of course, I'm forcing you to upload one, but sometimes people just name a PDF XLS, and like that's not an Excel file. XLS, XLXS, SX. Yeah, got that backwards. Anyway, just save it as an Excel file, and you'll be able to upload it just fine. There's the formulas that we're looking at. There's where there is no formula. So the formula we're looking at. This is, I took out the completed because we weren't completed. Remember, I told you that you could put a 1 in there for which ones you've completed, and it would total those up with a count formula. Just one way of doing it. I didn't want to get so involved because you can build a lookup table and you can bring that over under completed and it says yes. There's all sorts of fancy stuff you can do. But that's enough for today. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you later.